Well, also, it's like driving a car, right? I mean, the very first time you ever drive a car, you're like, oh my gosh, hands at 10 at 2, what's happening? And then, 10, 20 years later, you're changing the channel, you're turning up the volume, you're yelling at the kids in the back seat, you're eating a sandwich.
Right.
You can do all those things while going 70 miles an hour. I'm Ryan Gresham, and this is Gun Talk Nation. This Gun Talk Nation is brought to you by Black Hills Ammunition, SDS Imports, B5 Systems, Ruger, Range Ready, SecureIt, and Aero Precision. Welcome into Gun Talk Nation. Today on Gun Talk Nation, we're going to talk about thermal and night vision and all that stuff. Steve Lemenov, welcome in, man.
Thanks, Ryan.
You are a veteran when it comes to this world of high-tech optics, the thermal and night vision.
Right.
How many years have you been in that universe?
Almost 2 decades. It's funny. Thinking about it, I started in 2006, so almost 2 decades.
And obviously, it's not like that's when it was invented. It's been around a lot longer than that. But there's been a lot of changes since then.
I've seen the segment. There's optics, right? The whole big world of optics, day optics, red dots, a whole conglomerate of things. Night vision and thermal is such a small portion of that, vertical. But in recent years, has made incredible strides and waves for the optics industry as a whole. You see so many companies like Steiner, like Burris, so many other companies, big names that are seeing the value getting into that side of the business because that's where the growth is.
Well, and you had back in 2006, that early on, thermal and night vision to a certain extent, basically just really expensive, right?
Super expensive.
It was people owned it.
I remember selling retail wise, one of the very first thermals when I was working with ATN for about $16,000.
Right.
And that was like, wow, people are willing to spend that kind of money. It was incredible.
Yeah, it was kind of to the point of like, well, that's not real. Like nobody can buy this, not the regular person.
Right.
But that's totally changed over the years. The prices keep coming down
and technology is improving.
And it's improving, right? Because when I first started doing stuff with you guys, doing night vision hunts, thermal hunts, we'd have the little separate DVR recorders that we had to plug in, and it was cumbersome especially for hunting, recording your hunts. Right. Now it's all built into the optics. Right. It's amazing how much it's changed.
It has, and each year as technology improves, you are seeing better capabilities. You're seeing like Wi-Fi and Bluetooth in these types of optics that give you streaming capabilities, the onboard recording capabilities that you mentioned, the improved sensitivity on the thermal sensors, the image enhancements, the image processing, the algorithms.
We're talking about like the refresh rate.
Not just the refresh rate.
That's also a big deal.
Which is, when we started, you saw thermals at best at 9 hertz, and then went to 30 hertz. Now it's 60 hertz, right?
And those, I guess people listening might be familiar with that because you buy TVs and if you watch sports, faster is better, faster refresh rate.
So the higher the refresh rate, the faster the system tracks. Especially a fast-moving target, and you don't see that lag when you're panning and tilting, quickly from one scene to another. So it has been a huge, I want to say monumental, but as time goes by, you see computers improving. Everybody's got a supercomputer in their pockets with the cell phones now. All that technology, all that's kind of trickles down to different sectors, different industries. And companies, take advantage of it. The economies of scale, the innovation, the miniaturization of components, right? The microprocessors, the memory, the power management systems, how efficient the systems are able to draw the power from the batteries to give you longer performance on a smaller battery capacity, right?
Right.
So all those things are a culmination of the innovation in the industry as a whole.
Yeah.
And I think we here at Armorsight, we're taking the lead. We're doing good things, good quality product, putting best of breed components, processors, algorithms, and mechanisms in order to give great value to our customers.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are doing, so you're with Armorsight now, and I mean, when I started, we got the stuff in last year and started doing some filming with you. I was amazed, especially at the white phosphor night vision stuff.
Right.
I was like, what is this? This is a different animal.
The tubes have definitely, over the years, have improved, even though the Generation 3 technology hasn't, I want to say it hasn't changed, but it has, right? So the way that Elbit and L3 are making tubes now with the new Omni 7 contracts, Omni 8 contracts that go specifically to the military, but also are available now.
Is that what's happening? Is because we've had, I mean, we're just using this artificial timeline we're creating since 2006, is the technology and the market of the military, because it's been more active, is that helping the consumer side to bring prices down or bring technology up?
I would say yes, because we see that once let's say the military or law enforcement kind of gets it, kind of trickles down to the civilian market, right? Mm-hmm. They get the good stuff first.
Yeah.
And after a while, as economies of scale and other things improve, prices go down, it's more available to the civilian market. Because there's a crossover, a lot of guys that serve are also hunters, shooters. They want to use the same stuff they use in the military, in the civilian life. But frankly, the technology is constantly improving, right? It's constantly enhancing, and we see that, and it's great to be where we are right now because we are reaping the benefits of the innovations of the past.
It's awesome. I mean, I think that for a lot of people, they got into thermal and night vision for hunting. At least we're in the South. That's a big deal down here, night hunting for hogs and that kind of thing. But more and more, I keep thinking about how it is such a tactical advantage for anyone, even, regular homeowner guy,
right,
to have thermal and night vision. Why don't we do this? Let's take a quick break. After the break, let's talk about the setups and maybe how people might want to consider their setup if they're thinking about thermal or night vision. B5 Systems is a company I started hearing about a few years back, and I'm like, who are these guys? They're showing up on a lot of different rifle manufacturers' guns because their furniture is really nice. Furniture meaning stocks, handguards, grips, those types of products. Well, they started in 2008, and they've quickly become an industry leader in defense and aerospace manufacturing. And the trick is it's a user-first focus. So they kind of look at how people shoot and how they use these products to make the products better. If you want to go learn more, go over to b5systems.com. Ballistic Advantage, they're known for good rifle barrels, but they also make pistol barrels. And their latest one is a whole series of barrels for the SIG P365, featuring SAMI-spec chambers for optimal ammunition compatibility, enhanced factory specs, and performance. Also, I've heard through the grapevine that they actually increase accuracy. They have a lot of different configurations for all different types and sizes of the P365 family from Sig Sauer. They have threaded barrels, they have fluted barrels, they have different colors. So go check it out over at ballisticadvantage.com. Sometimes you just need a full-size gun safe. SecureItGunStorage.com. Go check out the Model 12 Answer. It's lightweight enough to move around in different parts of your house, but big enough to hold plenty of guns. And it's not giant because it's actually shallow, so it fits in perfect places. So I would say you could probably fit about 12 long guns in here, but also configuration for different storage, maybe ammo, maybe your suppressors, maybe accessories, optics, whatever that may be. And because it's not fixed, you can have some really long barrels and some really short barreled guns, and it's still all going to fit and kind of maximize the space with no wasted space. You can learn more over at SecureItGunStorage.com. Black Hills Ammunition. We love working with them because they want to make really awesome stuff. And they're making a bunch of awesome stuff. One of the ones, if you're looking for probably some of the widest variety of 223 ammo out there, they make it. From a 36 grain varmint grenade, love the name, all the way up to a 77 grain open match tip for shooting maybe longer range, bigger, longer bullet. They have a lot of different options for you there. They're also loading 300 Blackout, 5.56 chamberings, 308. So, and the thing is, they are not beholden to any particular component. They kind of pick the components that they like that really work well, and then they develop up a load for that. Learn more at black-hills.com. Been shooting the Ruger LC Charger a bit this past week, chambered in 5.7x28, low recoiling cartridge, available in an array of options for target shooting, small game, personal defense. But the LC Charger is a large format pistol. And when I say large format, I mean large. 10.3 inch nitrided treated steel barrel for strength, accuracy, longevity. And it kind of sounds strange until you start shooting it and you play around with different ways to shoot it. It does have a threaded barrel, so you can attach your popular muzzle accessories on there. And it's just kind of a fun, funky gun. You can learn more over at Ruger.com. SDS imports a lot of different things. The Spandau brand, Spandau Arms, and I actually went shooting hunting with this last year, the Spandau S2 Realtree APX. You look at it and go, okay, camo shotgun, cool, whatever. Except that it has a lot of nice features. It's super reliable, easy to operate, extremely well balanced. Everything that you want in a shotgun. It's built around the inertia operating system, so it's going to be ease of maintenance, ability to cycle a variety of loads, which is important because you can go from hunting doves and teal to hunting turkeys with it and everything in between. Go learn more over at sdsimports.com. So, Steve, one of the things that Armasight does, and I guess you guys are still doing it, you've got the whole package. So you sell the kit with like the helmet and the mount and different night vision configurations. Is that something you're still doing?
Yes, absolutely. And we actually have a great reception from our customers, from the audience, from the community, because a lot of times people do a lot of research, spend a lot of time looking at site A, site B, site C, thinking things will kind of jive and come together. Yeah. And then they find out, oh, this doesn't work with this doesn't connect with this doesn't attach to this.
You don't figure it out until you get it all in.
Exactly. It's because it's expensive stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's be serious. Night vision, good quality Gen 3 night vision is expensive.
Sure.
Helmets are expensive. Good quality mounts, like from Wilcox, are expensive. And not all retail locations carry all this stuff. So it's hard to go into a store where they have all these components in one place and you could just pick and choose what best works for you.
You're ordering online a lot of times and then putting it together at your house. And that's when you figure out, oh, crap, this doesn't fit together.
Right. So our solution was make it as easy as possible for the community. So that's why, we've partnered with Wilcox. They actually co-brand their mount for us specifically with Armasight logo on there. We work with Team Wendy helmets, the Exfil helmets that we include in the kit, OD bags, for everything compact and fits in there, and our night vision system. So you could be assured when you're buying a whole kit from Armasight that everything will work and connect seamlessly. Gotcha. Because we want to take the trouble that the average person goes through trying to figure all this stuff out, spending tons of money and time, because time is also money, right? Mm-hmm. Researching and trying to figure this stuff out. We just take all the guesswork out of the equation and give you a one-stop shop and you know that you can trust the quality and the brands that we've partnered with
And
to deliver.
Those are all known brands. I mean, they're trusted. I'm that guy. I am the just make it easy. Can I buy one package? Because if I'm going to buy all this stuff, and like I want to make sure it all goes together. So we were talking earlier, and I was saying I want to get the helmet. I've heard it. I'm going to tell you how I started out, and then Steve straightened me out. So I was like, I want to get the helmet with the night vision on my non-dominant eye, and I want to put a thermal scope on the rifle, like your collector or contractor, one of those. And so then I can look through the night vision of my non-dominant eye, and I got the thermal in the other. And so I can walk around with this one, and then when I want to shoot, I just bring it up. You had a different take on how to set this up.
Well, again, it's all about utility, right? What you mentioned is correct, but if you're looking for speed and depending on, let's say, range to target, so if it's like a home defense versus hunting scenario, I'd approach it differently. You could put a IR laser. There's a lot of great civilian IR lasers right now that you can have on your whatever platform.
I know that, but I just didn't think of it because I don't have a ton of experience. I have a little bit of experience, but not a lot shooting IR lasers wearing night vision.
Right.
But I mean that in that case, you're not actually putting the gun to your cheek.
You don't
have to.
Right.
I mean, you're basically looking at that laser downrange on target, and you're shouldering it, but you don't have to totally get a perfect mount. Is that right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. I mean, what would be the advantage of that?
Speed.
Okay.
If, let's say, critical situation, home defense or something, and you want speed, that's really the way to go. In a hunting situation, when you have a little more time and, depending on if you're hunting hogs or coyotes or whatever you're hunting, you could, bring up your night vision. It's very quick to flip it up and then engage through your thermal scope. You could do it that way. That way you get a lot more range and better target identification, because with night vision, depending on ambient light conditions, you may or may not be able to distinguish what the target is if it's really far away, right?
Yeah.
So in like a CQB, like closer range engagement, you could get away with laser painting the target and engaging with your night vision.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to engage at a kind of a longer range and you want to make sure that the target that you're shooting, not a neighbor's dog, it's a coyote or identification, you might want to use thermal at that point. Depending on conditions. So if it's fog, haze, kind of environmental obstructions that kind of have a negative impact on night vision, thermal cuts through that kind of stuff.
Thermal doesn't care.
Doesn't care.
Okay, that's cool. So so thermal might be better for longer distances or some of those adverse environmental conditions. What about running? I mean, besides cost, running one night vision versus double. Well, what are the pros, cons? Well, guys, the con is it's more expensive.
The pros is you have more depth perception because you have stereoscopic vision versus like one eye with night vision, and you have the unaided eye. Some people like that, but most that in the community that really kind of use it often prefer the dual tubes.
Yeah.
Because with modern dual tubes, you could always adjust the pod up and down, right? Or you could do both, or you could do just one. Or either one, depending on the scenario.
And you can move around quickly, like in complete darkness, as long as you have them fitted correctly and focused correctly. I mean, you can run around basically,
People
right?
do. People all do it every night, every day.
That's awesome. What else about like thermal night vision? What are some of the questions you guys are getting these days?
Battery life, filament, like what type of platform and the like caliber you can mount it on. Caliber is a big thing, because a lot of people have different perspectives of, what they want to put it on, what kind of utility. I'm a big proponent, use case and utility and have it simple. So the way I approach things is I have a tool for a specific need, and I have a specific optic to fulfill that, to complete that tool, that firearm, to do that engagement that I want to do, right? So if you're working in a kind of a closer environment and you have like a CQB type of thing, closer engagement that you don't need to see really far, but you want to make sure you're aware of your surroundings, have a bigger field of view, you'd select a different type of optic versus something you need to do, kind of reach out and touch somebody, something with a big bell that has a lot of optical or digital magnification to see out further, to detect a target, ID the target, and have positive on target basically.
I also just thought of another maybe use case is when you were talking about using an IR laser, you could actually have the gun with a daylight friendly scope. Could be like a red dot, or it could be like an LPVO, but then you can have this very small light IR laser that's always an option on any gun, right? If it's sighted in, you're ready, you put on your night vision, you're good to go.
Yes, that is true. Some people, for expediency being quick, quick target acquisition, use just the IR laser. Some actually use like a PVS-14 or NOTS to co-witness looking at a red dot and engaging targets like that. Also, you got to be mindful that the red dot or LPVO is night vision compatible, because those reticles, even though they may seem dim, you want them to have night vision compatibility mode, because those are specific optics that are designed to be used with night vision. Because if you're looking at a static reticle that's too bright for your night vision, it'll burn that reticle into your night vision. And will destroy your night vision, basically.
Oh, so, yeah, because I know there are optics that say, we've got a couple settings for night vision.
Right. And those are specifically intended for night vision use.
And it's not a matter of, there's the brightness is 1 to 5, and I'll just put it on 1.
No.
That's still too bright if you're doing it a lot through night vision.
Yes.
That's a good point. Okay. And probably I'm thinking you wouldn't, I think I would probably just use the IR laser if I was running at night with night vision. I wouldn't try to look through the scope. And also, I guess there's options.
Again, it all depends on use case and, how you like to do stuff, how you train. I'm a big advocate on training, because having the stuff and not knowing how to use the stuff is pointless.
For sure.
If you're going to get into it, I suggest participating in, there's classes all over the country. I'm not sure if you guys do it, but maybe something that you might
do that. I think Armasight, we should do the Armasight experience.
Sure.
Night vision thermal class.
I love your shoot house
We
here.
could do it indoors like CQB. We could do some outdoor stuff.
Right. What
do you think, everybody? Yes? You want to do that? That would be awesome. And you're right, because this equipment, you got to wear it, you got to put it on the gun, you got to test it out.
Be used to it, because again,
you're running at night, it's dark,
you can't see anything, right?
And you can't. It defeats the purpose if you're having to turn on a flashlight to figure out how to use your gear.
Exactly.
The whole point is you're running totally dark, which also means knowing where the controls are, the buttons are, without having to see it. Don't you agree?
Yeah, touch and feel, knowing your equipment, educating yourself how the equipment works, knowing the diopter settings, your focus settings, because with night vision, it's not automatic focus. Depending on how far the target, you have to make incremental adjustments to have things in focus, near and far. So it's dynamic. If you think you're going to put on night vision and go full speed, you're really mistaken.
Right.
You really have to kind of hone your skills, train to get to that level, to be able to move quick. I don't want to say quickly. Quickly is a relative term when you're operating at night, but there's a lot of resources on YouTube. There's a lot of great, YouTubers that cover night vision, and they go through all the elements of different lighting conditions, how they affect night vision.
That's a good point. You can learn anything on YouTube.
Everything.
Well, also, it's like driving a car, right? The very first time you ever drive a car, you're like, oh my gosh, hands at 10 at 2, what's happening? And then, 10, 20 years later, you're changing the channel, you're turning up the volume, you're yelling at the kids in the back seat, you're eating a sandwich.
Right.
You can do all those things while going 70 miles an hour. Maybe you shouldn't do all those things while you're driving at 70, but you can do a lot.
Right.
Same idea, right? Like you could be moving, you could shoot, you could do all those things in the dark.
It's just like learning how to use a firearm, right? In the beginning, you learn how to breathe, how to squeeze the trigger, trigger pull, windage, elevation, you know, how to zero in your scope to a firearm. Same thing, you know. A new piece of equipment is worthless without the education that comes along on how to use it correctly.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Dude, I love this stuff. It's so cool. It's so specific. Armasight, how do they find out more? Is there a particular product right now that you think either people don't know about enough or just one of your favorites?
One of my favorites is a Sidekick, the mini thermal monocular. It's multi-purpose. You could wear it on your head, hands-free. You could use it in the hand for scouting, surveillance. It's a really nice product. A new product that we're shipping now is the Collector. It's got this mini thermal rifle scope designed for CQB, 5.56 SBR, even crossbow or air rifles.
Cool.
And our Jockey is about to ship also the thermal clip-on. We're very excited about that. It's a long time coming. It's going to be a hot product for us as well. And our flagship contractors are doing great. If you're into coyote hunting or barrel hog hunting, awesome. They're great scopes.
They're awesome, man. Dude, this stuff is so fun. Talk about night vision and thermal. Tactically, we want an unfair advantage.
Always.
I mean, and that's why...
If you're not cheating, you're not doing it right.
Yeah, so very cool for that. If you're a hunter, now you can double the amount of time you can hunt because you can hunt all night long and, obviously legal where you go and all that stuff.
And that's a good caveat because some people are not aware of that using night vision or thermal optics is not legal in every state or even localities.
There's certain times a year. And you got to check your local regs.
Yep.
Make sure you're legal. But dude, it's like the funnest stuff you can do in the woods is sneaking around at night. It's so fun.
True. Yeah.
So, all right, guys, thanks for being with us. Thanks for listening. That's it for us. We will see you next time on Gun Talk Nation. To see all of Gun Talk's content, go to guntalk.com, guntalktv.com, or sign up for the Gun Talk newsletter.